Hello, it's Jordan. This video is being recorded on the afternoon of Monday, May 27, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me. In this video, I'm going to talk about silver's performance after breakouts in the silver price. But first, I want to give a shout out to all those who served, all those families who had people who served, and all those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you so much. There's nothing that I can say that can ever repay that kind of debt that we owe you. So thank you, and I hope everyone is having a great holiday weekend. But now, let's get into the video. So I want to go through all the historical breakouts in the silver price and assess how it performed. And we're focusing on the corrections and how much silver corrected after these breakouts. And the reality is, and it's similar to gold, but especially so in silver. Once silver makes a major breakout and it's making the impulsive move after the breakout, you don't see that much of a correction, until that breakout move ends. So I'm going to go through all the historical examples over the last 60 years. And first, this is the very first one. We're looking at 1968 to 1974. Here, in this area, it finally broke out above the 1968 high in 1973. We can see the move up to the resistance, pullback, then the breakout, retest of the breakout. So the retest of the breakout, it tested the 150-day. These are the moving averages here. You can see 100 in blue, 150 in red. So we can see this retest of the breakout tested the 150-day. But after that, it had one pullback to the 100-day. Then it continued higher. So that's that example. 1974 to 79. So we're talking about the move in 78 and 79. This was a long consolidation in silver over 4 years. Now, this is the breakout point on the daily chart. I mean, almost $7. But if we look at the weekly chart, again, not showing, this is the daily chart. But the weekly breakout was like around 580, actually. This, to me, was really the breakout move when it moved up to this resistance, then it pulled back, consolidated a little bit, and then it was off. And so, leading up to the breakout, it did test the 150-day. But after that, it only tested the 100-day here, here, and here. And so once it had broken out, there were no major pullbacks. I'm not showing the 50-day, but it didn't even come close to testing the 100-day after it broke out. Okay, so getting into more recent price action, well, a couple decades ago now, since we're in the 2020s. But I've highlighted here the impulsive moves after a breakout. So there's more of these recently, but this one in 97, we can see this impulsive move. Again, the same moving averages, the 100-day, 150-day. And just look at this move in yellow. Once it had cleared the moving averages here, it did have a retest, but this move, it stayed above the 100-day the entire time. Now, getting into the 2001, 2011 secular bull, these were not really huge breakouts here, but we can see once it was moving here in yellow, it had one test of the moving averages, then it was running. 2003 here, a test of the moving averages before the breakout, then a quick retest. But even after the retest, it didn't come back to the moving averages until the move had completed. Now, end of 2003 into 2004, this impulsive advance, it began and you had one test of the 100-day, but then it ran no test of the 100-day when it was running. Same thing here, 2005. This was a huge breakout. I talk about the 2005 breakout in gold all the time. So you had the pullback before the breakout, then the explosive move from below $8 all the way up to $15. And look at this move. It didn't even come close to testing the 100-day. So that's just the reality of these moves. And so here's the 2005 move we can see again. Now we're focusing on 2007, which wasn't that long of a move. We can see breakout here, pullback. Even in this retest of the breakout, didn't come close to the 100-day. Quick move, didn't come close to the 100-day. Then, of course, 2010, this historic move, breaking above 20 and then eventually 22. It tested the moving averages before the breakout. But once it broke out, other than this move right here, and even this move, it didn't test the 100-day in closing terms. But other than this move, it was almost straight and steady all the way up to 50. Now, most recently, before the current breakout, We're looking at the 2020 breakout move. So here's the trend line resistance here. And we can see bit of a little correction here before the huge move. Again, wasn't that long of a move, but you see this huge explosion. There wasn't any correction during this, like a 4 or 5 month move, 4-month move. So that's in line with what we see historically. Now, finally, this is the last chart. This shows my silver bull analog chart. We're plotting all the historical moves in silver on the current scale, the current bottom, the February 24 bottom at the bottom price currently. And so we can see the historical moves. These are the 4 strongest. You have the early 70s, end of the 70s, 05 to 2008, and then 2008 to 2011. Black is this current move. I should say 2024, actually. And the dotted lines here, that's an average of the 4. And so we're focusing on the cyclical move here. So we're looking at 2-3 year moves. And so these 4 strongest, we can see the average here. I think the average comes up to almost $100 an ounce, the average of the 4. That would be like a little more than 2 years from now. That's kind of exciting, but kind of scary at the same time, how much higher silver could go. I mean, that's like a triple from here. And we can see it's interesting because $50 is probably around here. And this is more subjective, I think, than objective. But what we could potentially see with this move is, think about what we just talked about, how silver makes a breakout. It makes a huge move. It doesn't really have a big correction along the way. So how does that pertain now? Potentially in this move, maybe we could see silver really aggressively move up to $50 sooner than people think. Gets really hot and overbought. There isn't really tiny corrections along the way. Gets up to 50, and then maybe it goes sideways for, 6 months, 9 months, maybe even a year. And then it finally, when it breaks $50, it explodes to 100. That is a potential roadmap for how the cyclical bull could play out. But it's not a prediction. It's just one scenario that I'm thinking about. So that's it for this video. Really, the big takeaway is when silver makes a major breakout, as it just did very recently, and then it moves higher and it runs, you typically don't see, well, I shouldn't say typically, almost all the time you don't really see even a pullback to the 100-day moving average. We might see some pullbacks to the 50-day moving average. So looking at silver here and now, this analysis of history tells us that maybe silver, at least until it moves up to $50, that it could stay really overbought the entire time. That's what this analysis says, is don't expect any huge pullbacks in silver. There's always room and there's always a chance that you could get a snapback, retest of the breakout. Maybe it comes back to 28, 29, something like that. But at the same time, there's a lot more evidence that tells you silver could stay really overbought until it gets to $50. That's all for this video. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Hope you guys had a great holiday weekend, and I'll talk to you guys again in the next video. Thank you.